TSMC China in danger. What's next for chips? What if the beating heart of the world's technology, billions of tiny chips powering everything from your smartphone to fighter jets, was teetering on the edge of a geopolitical abyss? Imagine a single spark in the Taiwan Strait igniting a firestorm that could paralyze global innovation. This isn't a distant nightmare, it's the reality unfolding around Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, the world's chip-making titan caught in the crosshairs of US-China tensions. Welcome to Revo Now, where we peel back the layers of this high-stakes drama to reveal what's really at stake for the future of technology. Hold on tight, this is no ordinary story. In the heart of Hsinchu, Taiwan, TSMC stands as a colossus, producing over 60% of the world's semiconductor chips and 90% of the most advanced ones. These microscopic marvels are the lifeblood of modern life, fueling iPhones, Nvidia GPUs, Tesla EVs, and even Lockheed Martin's F-35 jets. But beneath this technological empire lies a fault line, one that trembles with every escalation in US-China rivalry. The question isn't just whether TSMC can keep churning out chips, it's whether it can survive a world where Taiwan's silicon shield is no longer a deterrent, but a target. Like a castle built on shifting sands, TSMC's dominance is both its strength and its vulnerability. Since the US imposed sanctions on Huawei in 2019, the semiconductor industry has become a battleground for global supremacy. TSMC, once a neutral foundry serving giants like Apple, Qualcomm and Huawei, is now entangled in a web of export controls, tariffs, and geopolitical maneuvering. In April 2025, Reuters reported that TSMC faces a potential $1 billion fine from the US Department of Commerce for allegedly supplying a chip to China-based Softgo, which ended up in Huawei's Ascend 910B AI processor. This incident, uncovered by Tech Insights in late 2024, led TSMC to suspend shipments of advanced chips to Chinese clients, a move that sent shockwaves through Beijing's semiconductor ambitions. The stakes are sky-high, and the suspense is palpable. Can TSMC navigate this storm without losing its crown? If this glimpse into the precarious future of the world's chip supply has you gripping the edge of your seat, join the Revo Now community in uncovering the truths that shape our digital world. Hit that like button, share this revelation, and subscribe to Revo Now so you don't miss the next chapter in this unfolding saga. Your support fuels our quest to bring you the stories that matter most. TSMC's story begins in 1987, when founder Morris Chang, a former Texas Instruments engineer, built a company that would redefine the semiconductor industry. By focusing solely on manufacturing, acting as a foundry for fabless chip designers like Apple and Nvidia, TSMC carved out a niche that made it indispensable. Today, it commands a 61.7% share of the global foundry market, dwarfing competitors like Samsung, 11%, and China's SMIC. Its factories, or fabs, in Taiwan produce chips as small as 3 nanometers, a feat of engineering that's like threading a needle in a hurricane. But this technological supremacy is now a double-edged sword, drawing the attention of both Washington and Beijing. The silicon shield metaphor, coined to describe Taiwan's chip-making prowess as a deterrent against Chinese aggression, is under unprecedented strain. China's military exercises around Taiwan, intensified in 2024 and 2025, have raised fears of an invasion. A Bloomberg report from May 2024 revealed that TSMC and ASML, the Dutch company that supplies its cutting-edge EUV lithography machines, have kill switches to disable their equipment remotely in case of a Chinese takeover. This is no mere precaution. It's a digital guillotine, designed to ensure that TSMC's fabs don't fall into Beijing's hands. The image is chilling. A factory floor of silent machines, their secrets locked away as the world's tech supply chain grinds to a halt. The US has wielded its export controls like a scalpel, targeting China's semiconductor ambitions while pressuring TSMC to align with American interests. In November 2024, the US Commerce Department issued an is-informed letter ordering TSMC to halt shipments of 7 nanometer or more advanced chips to Chinese clients for AI and GPU applications. This followed the discovery of a TSMC chip in Huawei's AI processor, a violation of US export rules that TSMC claims was unintentional. The fallout was swift. TSMC suspended shipments to Softgo and other Chinese firms, a move that, according to Yahoo Finance, dominated discussions at Beijing's 21st China International Semiconductor Expo in November 2024. It's as if the US is tightening a noose around China's tech aspirations, with TSMC caught in the middle. Meanwhile, China is racing to close the gap. Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, China's leading foundry, has made strides with its 7nm N+2 process, as seen in Huawei's Kirin X90 SoC for the MateBook Fold, per a June 2025 Tech Insights report. China's Made in China 2025 initiative, backed by billions in state funding, aims for 50% semiconductor self-sufficiency by 2025, but it's still heavily reliant on foreign equipment and talent. The US has banned Taiwanese and South Korean engineers from working for Chinese firms, a move that, according to the Stimson Center, exacerbates China's shortage of 300,000 skilled technicians. This is a chess game where every move counts, and TSMC is the king. Both sides are fighting to control. To mitigate these risks, TSMC is diversifying its operations, a strategy that's both a shield and a potential Achilles heel. In 2025, TSMC announced a $100 billion investment in the US, including 5 new fabs in Arizona, as reported by NPR in March 2025. This follows earlier investments in Japan and Germany, where TSMC broke ground on its first European fab in Dresden in August 2024, a $11 billion joint venture with Bosch, Infineon and NXP. These moves aim to reduce reliance on Taiwan, which accounts for 8% of the island's GDP and consumes 8% of its electricity, per Bloomberg. But diversification comes at a cost. Taiwanese opposition leaders, like KMT's Fu Kunqi, have called it a national security crisis, arguing that moving production abroad weakens Taiwan's silicon shield. It's like a general dispersing his army to avoid a single point of failure, only to find his forces stretched thin. The Arizona fabs, set to produce 3nm chips by 2028, have already faced challenges. TSMC's strict management style, including long hours and weekend shifts, has clashed with American labor practices, leading to a class action lawsuit filed in 2025 alleging bias and unsafe conditions. Meanwhile, China's response has been to double down on self-reliance. At the Beijing Expo, industry leaders like More Thread's Dong Longfei expressed confidence in chiplet technology, modular circuits that bypass the need for cutting-edge nodes, as a workaround for US sanctions. This is a game of cat and mouse, where every innovation sparks a countermove, and TSMC is racing to stay ahead. A disruption to TSMC's operations would be catastrophic. A 2021 Bloomberg report estimated that a Chinese invasion could halt 90% of advanced chip production, impacting everything from smartphones to missile systems. Each Lockheed Martin Javelin missile, used extensively in Ukraine, contains 200 chips, many made by TSMC. The global semiconductor market, valued at $555.9 billion in 2021, is projected to hit $1 trillion by 2030, with TSMC's Kevin Zhang predicting over 10% growth in 2025 alone. But this growth hinges on stability. A TRT World report from October 2024 warned that even without an invasion, China's constant pressure could trigger brain drain, as TSMC's skilled engineers are lured to new fabs abroad or dilute Taiwan's technological edge as production fragments. China, meanwhile, is poised to become the world's largest foundry hub by 2030, with 30% of global capacity, per Yole Group. This shift is driven by massive investments, like the $47 billion China Integrated Circuit Industry Investment Fund. Yet, as Tech Insights notes, it's a race against time, like two climbers scaling a mountain, one with cutting-edge gear, the other with sheer determination and a growing pile of resources. The truth is as stark as it is suspenseful. TSMC is no longer just a company, it's a geopolitical linchpin, a prize in a global power struggle that could reshape the 21st century. The US is pushing TSMC to bolster American manufacturing, with President Biden hailing its Arizona investments as a return of American manufacturing in December 2022. China, meanwhile, is betting on self-sufficiency, with SMIC and Huawei making gains despite US sanctions. But the real revelation lies in TSMC's precarious balancing act. By expanding globally, it's hedging against a Taiwan-centric catastrophe, but at the cost of alienating its home base and inviting scrutiny from both superpowers. The Huawei chip incident, which triggered a $1 billion fine threat, exposed how even an unintentional misstep can have seismic consequences. And yet, the suspense lingers. What happens if the silicon shield crumbles? If China's pressure, or worse, an invasion, disrupts TSMC's fabs, the global economy could face a supply shock unlike any in history. Conversely, if TSMC's diversification succeeds, it could redefine the semiconductor landscape, making the US and Europe less dependent on Taiwan. But at what cost to Taiwan's economy and security? It's a high-wire act, with the world watching, and the question remains, can TSMC outmaneuver the forces threatening to tear it apart, or will it become the first casualty in a new kind of war? This is more than a story about chips, it's about the fragile threads holding our digital world together. TSMC's fate will shape the smartphones we carry, the cars we drive, and the defenses we rely on. What do you think? Can TSMC navigate this geopolitical minefield? Or is the world's chip supply doomed to collapse under the weight of US-China rivalry? Have you felt the impact of chip shortages? Or are you worried about what's next? Share your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what tech mysteries you want RevoNow to tackle next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay locked into the pulse of tomorrow's revolutions. This is RevoNow signing off.
Subscribe to RevoNow and join our vibrant community of forward thinkers, change makers, and revolutionaries.